fundamental digital modulation technique, that is amplitude shifting. Okay, so once again, welcome to this lab session. Here, look at this. In this digital communication lab experiments, so the next experiment, that is amplitude shift keying. So here, this is amplitude shift keying is one of the fundamental digital modulation technique in our different categories of modulation techniques. So in our theory, we have already discussed about amplitude shift keying, phase shift keying, frequency shift keying, DPSK and QPSK also. So there are different modulation techniques we already discussed. So one by one, again in the laboratory sessions, here we are going to discuss these concepts again, and also by using hardware kit, we are going to analyze the input and output waveforms and different operations involved in the modulation as well as in the demodulation process. Okay, here all of you carefully observe this experiment. That is the amplitude shift keying. It is one kind of digital modulation technique. It is defined as the amplitude of the carrier is going to be changed according to the input message signal. Here the input message signal is nothing but a digital bit sequence. So that means based on the input digital data, whether it is 1 or 0, then based on that 1 and 0, the amplitude of the carrier is changed between two amplitudes. Here the amplitudes are nothing but, for binary 1, we will get carrier as the amplitude, that is same carrier is getting when the input is binary 1, and when the input is binary 0, automatically 0 amplitude is coming. That means we can clearly say that when the input is binary 1, we will get a carrier signal at the modulated output. When the input is 0, we simply get 0 volts as the amplitude. Here, the carrier means the carrier is generally represented with a AC cos 2 pi of Ct, AC cos 2 pi of Ct, when the input is 1. Similarly, when the input is 0, we will get 0 volts. That means if the binary input is 1, we will get the carrier with an amplitude AC, and when the input is binary 0, we will get a 0 volts as the amplitude. That means in ASK, we will get either carrier or no carrier. That means it's like a switching waveform. So that's why it is also called as on-off keying. That means the carrier will be on during binary 1 period, the carrier will be off during binary 0 period. That's why it is also called as on-off keying, and simply amplitude. So this is what the introduction for amplitude shift keying. All these things we have already discussed in theory. Now we are going directly into the hardware details. So whatever the block diagrams I have explained in the theoretical lab subject, the same kind of block diagrams you can observe in the laboratory kit. Okay, but inside that there will be some kind of circuits and ICs connections are there, but that is not shown to you. But the layout only you can observe in the hardware kit, like this. For example, if you observe this amplitude shift keying hardware kit, so actually this is a hardware kit which contains number of experiments or number of digital modulation experiments. For example, by using this single kit, we can able to do an experiment on ASK, FSK, ESK and DPSK also, both modulation and demodulation. Okay, so this is a new experimental kit. We can do number of experiments by using the same kit. As we have already discussed about PCM, delta modulation, adaptive delta modulation, delta sigma modulation, all these things can be done in a single kit. So like that, we have one particular digital modulation kit. In that, we can do an experiment on ASK, FSK, PSK and DPSK also. Both modulation and demodulation we can perform. For example, if you observe this hardware kit diagram, So whatever we have explained the block diagrams, so those block diagrams we can observe in this particular modulation and demodulation part. For example, this part is entirely modulation and the next part is nothing but demodulation techniques. For example, here there is a button which is called as modulation technique selection. By pressing the switch, one type of modulation will be selected. For example, if you press this switch once, the ASK modulation and demodulation, this is enabled. When you press this switch again, then PSK modulation and demodulation, this particular part is enabled. Whenever if you press this switch again, then DPSK modulation and demodulation, this part is enabled and so on like this. That means if you want to select any one modulation in this particular hardware kit, then we need to select that modulation by using this switch. Clear? Next. Another thing is, for any modulation technique, the input message signal is a digital bit sequence or a digital data. So that digital data is obtained from this generator. So again, there is a switch under the name data. If you press this switch, you can able to select 8-bit data as the input, or 16-bit data as the input, or 32-bit data as the input, and so on. Okay, that means for giving the input to this modulation technique, you can give 8-bit data or 16-bit data. The same 8-bit data will be repeated continuously. Okay, so you can able to select number of bits in the input bit sequence. Okay, that can be selected by this switch. And then for any digital modulation technique, in order to generate any digital data, definitely we require a clock pulse or a clock signal. So the clock signal is obtained from this particular clock. Okay, so that is the data clock is obtained at this particular pin. If you observe this pin in the CRO, you will observe there is a clock pulse. And clock frequency, the frequency of the clock signal can be selected by using this switch. When you press this switch, the clock frequency can be selected among 2 kHz, 4 kHz, 8 kHz, or 6 kHz. So try to select any one frequency for the clock signal, and based on the clock signal, the input binary data is going to be generated here. Okay, these two are already interconnected inside this hardware kit. So based on this clock signal, 8-bit data can be generated by using this M1 technique or data generator. So by using these two parts from the clock pulse, these number of bits are generated by using this particular clock. So for example, if you observe the ASK modulation, this is the input. For PSK, this is the input. For DPSK, this is the input. For FSK, this is the input. So if you observe these input pins in the CRO, then you can clearly observe that there is a input data stream or input bit sequence, whether it may be 8-bit or 16-bit or 32 or 16. So those 8-bit data can be observed here. Okay, so that is generated through these blocks. So if you observe particularly for ASK modulation and demodulation, we know that ASK signal is generated by simply multiplying the input binary data with a carrier signal. So let us say this is a carrier signal. This carrier signal is directly multiplied with the input data. Here the input data may be either 8 bits, either ones and zeros and so on. Here each one is represented with the binary +1 volt, and each 0 is represented with a 0. So when these two are multiplied automatically, the carrier is obtained when the input is 1 and 0 volts is obtained when the input is 0. So automatically ASK output is obtained at this particular pin. Next, in a simple way, again we are using a coherent detection technique for demodulation of ASK signal or demodulation of the original signal. So what is the meaning of coherent detection? The coherent detection means generally we use coherent detection in all the parts. So in ASK also we are using coherent detection. The coherent detection means ASK output, that is S of T, is once again multiplied with the same carrier. For example, if you observe this is one carrier which is generated from an oscillator. The same kind of carrier the coherent carrier with same phase and frequency must be generated in the receiver side also, or in the demodulation also. That means you should use the oscillator once again in order to generate the same carrier signal. So the same carrier is multiplied with the modulated signal, and then after the multiplication, it is passed through an integrator. So integrator will remove the higher order frequencies, it allows only the low frequency components having some magnitudes. So here, that finally, that amplitude value is going to be compared with threshold value here. Generally, the threshold value is said to be 0 volts. Okay, that means the amplitude value is compared with 0 in this threshold comparator or a decision making device. So in this comparator, when the amplitude is greater than 0, when this amplitude is greater than 0, we'll get binary 1 as the output, and when the amplitude is less than 0, we'll get binary 0 as the output. So like that, you may get 1s and 0s sequence at the output of the demodulation. So here, after the demodulation, you need to check whether this demodulated input sequence, the demodulated sequence, is same as that of the input bit sequence or not. You need to verify for that, right? So this is very simple experiment, that is amplitude gain. This is one of the fundamental digital modulation technique. Okay. So if you are interested, you can also observe what is the output after the multiplication and what is the output after the integration also, right? So we'll see all these things in this laboratory experiment. Next, this is what the experimental procedure. So first we need to connect the switch and power supply to this particular hardware kit and select any one of the input data, either 8-bit or 16 or 32-bit, and by selecting that switch and observe the input data on the test point P2, PP2. So these are just some representations. Every pin is numbered with some integer like 3, 10, 5, 6, 2, 1, and so on like this. So that's why all these are numbered with TP1, TP2, and so on like this. You don't worry about these numbers. So based on your requirement, identify different outputs and different signal generations at each and every point. Similarly, select input clock with a push button of selecting the frequency either 2 kHz or 8 kHz or something like that. If you want to change the frequency, you can change by pressing this TP1 and observe the same signal in the CRO, and then observe the change in the frequency of the carrier at the output when these two frequencies are changed. Similarly, ASK modulation is by default selected when the switch is power on. That means when the switch is power on, automatically the first one is selected. If you want to change this to another modulation technique, you need to select the switch. Okay, and the modulation and demodulation both will be performed. So don't worry about this procedure. Anyway, we'll do everything by looking at this particular hardware. Now, the first thing is input signal generation when compared to the clock signal. So that means here in dual mode of CRO, connect two CRO probes. So one CRO probe must be connected to this clock signal and another CRO probe must be connected to the input of the modulation. Here that input of the modulation is nothing but 8-bit data, since 8-bit data is selected. So let us assume this is selected as 8-bit data and this is selected as 2 kHz clock signal. So here we are going to compare this input bit sequence with the clock pulse. Then only we can able to identify how many number of ones and how many number of zeros are there in this 8-bit sequence. So for that comparison, select one CRO probe to the clock signal, another CRO probe to the input signal. Now you can clearly observe that. What is the bit sequence in this input. So this is what the input bit sequence contains, ones and zeros. So in order to identify how many ones and how many zeros are there in the sequence, you need to compare with the clock signal. For example, during one clock time period, this is what the clock time, right? So during this one clock time period, generally for every clock time period, there will be one bit is generated. For every clock time period, there will be one bit is generated. Okay. So here during this particular clock period, one bit is generated. Here what is that? 1. Since it is high pulse, so you can consider this as 1. Next, during the next clock time period, what is generated here? Low pulse or a 0 pulse. So consider it as 0. Next, during the next clock pulse, 1. During the next clock pulse, 0. During the next clock pulse, 1. Again during the next clock pulse, again high pulse is generating, so you can consider this as again 1. Okay, and during the next two clock pulses, 0 and 0 are made. So total how many bits are generated? 1 0 1 0 1 1 0 0. That means total 8 bits are generated. So again, if you observe, the same bit sequence is repeated. So that means 1 0 1 0 1 1 0. So the same 8-bit sequence is repeated since we are selected 8-bit data as the input in the hardware kit. If you select this 8-bit as the input, then this will be the output. Okay, this will be the output. So in order to identify how many number of ones or zeros, you must compare with the clock period or clock pulse. For every time period of clock pulse, there will be one bit, either it may be 0 or 1. Okay, based on that only you need to identify number of bits. Next, this is the first thing. You need to select the clock signal with proper frequency. Let us take this is 2 kHz frequency and identify the bit sequence in the corresponding 8-bit data. If we are selected a 16-bit data, then you need to identify how many number of 16 bits are there in this corresponding sequence. Right? Next one is directly observe the ASK modulated output. Directly observe the here ASK modulated output. So here this modulated output here I am comparing with the input data. This is what the input data. This is what the input data. I am comparing the ASK output with the input data. So what is the ASK operation? Whenever there is a binary 1, during that period, the same carrier is obtained. During binary 0, there is no carrier is obtained. That is 0. That's why it is 0. Again during binary 1, again same carrier is obtained. Again during binary 0, no carrier. Binary 1, same carrier. Binary 0, no carrier. Like that, the ASK signal will be obtained. This is what the ASK output when compared to input. Okay. When compared to input. So if you are taking 8-bit data, this is what the ASK output. If you compare with 16-bit data, the output may be different. You need to verify that. For all the input bit combinations, you need to do the ASK experiment. Next, finally, you need to observe the demodulated output when compared with the input bit sequence. So these, for example, the first one is the demodulated signal, the second one is the input bit sequence. So both demodulated and input bit sequence must be exactly same. And whatever may be the input bit sequence you have considered, that is 10 10 11 00. The same bit sequence must be obtained at the demodulation output. For example, you can verify that 10 10 10 110. Same bit sequence is obtained at the demodulation. So this image will tell you the major advantage of digital modulation technique. So are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
So just the power is turned off and again will come back. It is come back. So once again I will repeat this. So this is what the demodulated ASK signal when compared to the original input bit sequence. We observe both demodulation and input signal, both are exactly same. And from this image you can clearly observe the advantage of digital modulation technique. Okay, but when you observe the analog modulation technique and if you observe the demodulated signal, somewhat there will be some disturbance in the demodulation, either maybe amplitude variation or there may be some distortion, etc. But there is no such kind of deviations while demodulating a digital signal, because even though there is some variations in the amplitude, finally what we need to demodulate, we need to demodulate the either one or zero sequences, that is like a pulse waveform. So even though there is any variations in the amplitude values, finally based on the decision device you can perfectly able to recover the original bit sequence. That is the main advantage of digital modulation technique. By simply you can observe in the demodulated ASK output. It is exactly same with respect to the input. So now all these things are going to be explained once again during this experimental video. So if I will try to observe this video, how the experiment is performed. Look at this. So this is the modulation selection switch. By selecting the switch, you can able to enable either ASK or PSK or BPSK. Okay. So this the switch is changing. So different modulation techniques are enabled. So what we are experiment is we need to select this ASK modulator and demodulator. So that's why the switch is positioned such a way that this will be enabled. So you can look at the LED. LED is glow on for ASK modulation as well as ASK demodulation. Both are enabled. And similarly, you need to select any bit sequence, either 8 bit or 16 bit or 32 and so on. So by pressing this switch. So while selecting this switch, by pressing the switch, you can select any of the bit sequence. For example, I have selected 8 bit sequence only. Next, this is what the clock signal. The clock signal frequency can be selected based on the switch. Here, actual clock is obtained. Based on this generate data generator and 1 bit encoding, there will be input data is generated after this clock. Okay, so we can able to change the frequency also of the clock pulse or a clock signal. Now, for simplicity, I have selected 2 kHz as the frequency of the clock signal. Now here I am going to observe what is the clock signal and what is the input. Now I am connecting the CRO probe to the clock signal pin. So this is what the clock signal. Okay. Next I am connecting to the input. Where the input is coming? After this data generator and encoding, finally through this path we are getting the input. So whenever it is connected, we can connect this particular pin and observe the CRO so that you can easily observe what is the input bit. Here 8 bits are selected. So based on the 8 bits, this is what the sequence. We have already explained what is the sequence is 10 10 11 0. Okay, this is what the input. If I change this into 16 bit, so automatically this is the 16 bit data. Okay, the 16 bit data can be 11 0 11 0 0 1 0 0 and so on. The remaining things are repeated. Okay, so the next thing is here I am going to compare the input with the clock signal. I am going to compare the input with the clock signal. That means in a dual mode, one CRO probe is connected to the input and another CRO probe is connected to the clock pulse. Okay? So let us see this. One is connected to the input, other one must be connected to the clock pulse. Yeah, actually this is not the clock pulse. That's why the both signals are same. So this must be the clock pulse. The second CRO probe must be connected here. Okay. So one, we connect this clock pulse signal probe. When you compare the input with the clock pulse, so this will be the comparison. Based on the clock pulse, you can easily able to observe what is the bit sequence. For example, it is a 16-bit sequence. For simplicity, you can take 8-bit sequence also. You need to count the number of bits. So based on this clock time interval, you need to identify one bit, that is 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1, and so on. Okay, like that you need to count how many number of ones and zeros are there. Right? The next one, I'm directly observing the output, directly observing the ASK output along with input. So based on the input sequence, the ASK output will be produced as this. And if you observe the demodulated signal, by using coherent detection, and this must be connected to ground always. So directly this is what the demodulated signal. If you observe the waveform comparison of demodulated signal with the input signal or input bit sequence, exactly both are same. If you identify the sequence, of course some delay may be there between these two CRO probes, but if you identify, okay, you need to identify, you need to verify both are same or not. Okay, and if you are interested, if you want to observe each and every detail of the foreign detection, then you can verify like this. For example, ASK input is given here. When that SRP is multiplied with the same coherence carrier, then what will be the product modulator output? That product modulator output, I have already said that that is AC cos 2 pi FCT into AC cos 2 pi FCT. That is the AC square cos square 2 pi FCT. And if you expand that, AC square by 2 plus AC square by 2 into cos 4 pi FCT. So again the summation is nothing but some kind of sinusoidal waveform. So that will be obtained here. After the product modulator, so this will be the output of the product modulator when compared with the input. Okay, so having some kind of sinusoidal variation. Right? So when this is passed through low pass filter or integrator, automatically high frequency components are eliminated. Only some positive or low frequency DC amplitude values are coming. Next, here I am going to observe what is the output of the integrator. Generally, the integrator or a low pass filter will generate the low frequency signals. Then all other high frequency components are eliminated. Only the low frequency amplitude values are generated during these intervals. Okay. If you observe carefully, here there may be some variation in the amplitudes. There may be some variation in the amplitudes, but all these amplitudes are greater than 0 in this period, and here is 0, and all these amplitudes are greater than 0 in this particular period. So whatever may be the amplitude variation, even though there is some distortion in this amplitude values, but in the decision device, what is happening is, in the decision device or a threshold comparator, this amplitude value is compared with the 0. So whenever the amplitude value is greater than 0, maybe any amplitude, high amplitude or low amplitude, whatever may be the amplitude, that amplitude is greater than 0, automatically the output will be coming as binary 1. When this amplitude is less than 0 or equal to 0, automatically the output will be obtained as 0. So like that, based on that, finally the digital modulated signal is obtained as a input binary signal. So when you compare with the input and the digital modulated digital demodulated signal, then you can clearly observe that both are having same sequences. Both are having same input bit sequence. Okay. All of you you must do a comparison of what is the input bit sequence here and what is the demodulated sequence here. You need to individually verify what is the sequence. You need to count how many number of ones and zeros in this input and how many number of ones and zeros in this demodulated signal. So after 8 bits or after 16 bits, again the same sequence is repeated. So after that you need to identify, at least you need to verify two such repetitions. For example, if you consider it is 8-bit data, so 8 bits are repeated again and again. Here also same 8 bits are repeated again and again. So if you identify that same 8 bits are repeating in the demodulation also, then it is clear that the demodulation is perfect. Okay. So that is very simple experiment of amplitude shift key. Okay. And the corresponding observations are, you need to verify the corresponding input and clock signal. You need to verify what is the frequency of the clock signal, and you need to identify all the possible input sequences, whether 8 bit or 16 bit or 32 bit, and observe the carrier signal in the CRO, identify the carrier signal frequency. All of you must identify what is the carrier used in that, and what is the frequency of the carrier, and what is the amplitude of the carrier. Everything you need to identify, and then observe the modulator output, and observe the product modulator output. Similarly, observe the integrator output, and finally observe the demodulator output. Okay, all these waveforms you must observe while doing the experiment. Similarly, observe the following data patterns on the input data selected. For example, if you select 8 bit, so that must be having a sequence of 10 1 1 0 1 0. This is already observed. Similarly, if you select 16 bit, so this kind of bit sequence you need to be observed. Similarly, if you select 32 bit or 64 bit, also you are able to identify what is the corresponding bit sequence. So for all these 4 different types of input data, we need to verify whether the ASK signal is producing the correct outputs and whether it is perfectly demodulating the signal or not. Okay. So this is what the very simple experiment of amplitude shift keying. Okay.